I'm Cherylanne Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for working women who are ready to shine. Each week, I bring you ideas, inspiration, and insight on balance, business, and getting it all done gracefully. You ready? Let's be brilliant. This is episode 115 of the Brilliant Balance podcast, If You Give a Mom 10 Minutes. So hello and welcome back to a brand new year of the Brilliant Balance podcast. I am so excited to kick off 2020. Like, how many things have you read in the last couple of days about this being a new decade and a fresh start and all the analogies about 2020 vision and clarity? Like, man, it is marketing gold. We are going to have so much fun with 2020. Those round number years just really call us to a different level of planning and clarity and envisioning. And I don't think we can help ourselves. They just feel so right for it. Although I have to tell you this funny story. My daughter, who's 15, we were talking about something the other day in the kitchen, and she said, I just love things from the 1900s. And I thought, oh yeah, well, doesn't everyone, right? It's so antiquated. And she was talking about something that happened in the 90s, like the 1990s. So apparently we can technically call that the 1900s. And I was a little undone by the reference. So maybe you will be too. I've had so many good conversations with the kids during the holidays, and I hope you had a chance to spend lots of time with your family and you're ready to crank it back up and get in rhythm this year. One of the things we did during the break was get rid of some toys and books and things that had accumulated, especially, because everybody got a bunch of gifts at the holidays. And I was going through a stack of books to find some to donate and realized there are some that I just cannot part with. You may recognize books like Love You Forever, the classic tearjerker. I love that book. Goodnight Moon. I could not part with The Giving Tree ever. I think I'll have that book in my possession when I am old and gray. The Very Hungry Caterpillar was a classic. And If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, like who does not love If You Give a Mouse a Cookie? So that's when the title for this episode came to me, which we've called If You Give a Mom 10 Minutes. See what I did there? I want to talk today about reclaiming the power of 10 minutes because virtually every working mom I know would say, look, I just have too much to do and not enough time to do it, right? It is our refrain. And I can relate so much to that statement of just trying to pack it all in and figure out where it is all going to go and never feeling like there's quite enough time to do all the things we want to do. And yet, a pattern that I often see within our Brilliant Balance community, specifically with the women I'm actively coaching, is that there are a lot of kind of wasted pockets of time when we get really granular about how our week looks. And often those pockets of time come in small increments. I'm using 10 minutes today, but I'm using it kind of as a metaphor. It might be 30 minutes, it might be 20 minutes, but it's things like, the time between you're pretty much ready and you have to walk out the door for church. That's like a snippet of time. Maybe there's 15 or 20 minutes in there. Maybe there's not, and you're running out the door with your hair on fire like I sometimes am. Maybe it's the time between one meeting and the next in your workday, and you look down and you think, God, I only have 15 minutes. Like, what am I going to get done? So you don't do anything, right? Or you start scrolling through your phone, or you go get a cup of coffee or whatever. Maybe it is the time, between dinner and needing to get the kids ready for bed. And you think there's not really enough time to do anything. So it just gets wasted. And that's the key point here is we are not going to talk today about how you can optimize every nanosecond of your 24-hour day to be some kind of robotic machine, right? That's not where I'm going. I just want to talk about what can you do to more intentionally reclaim some of these small pockets of time? And could that, in fact, have you feeling better about your overall relationship with time and with your schedule? So for today, there are 3 ideas. I made them the 3 Bs just so you can more easily remember them. 3 ways that you could actually make good use of a small pocket of time, even if it's just 10 minutes. And I'm going to share those with you today, and let's see if you can put one or two of them into practice as we kick off this new year. The first B is you could breathe. Okay, literally, like take a breath or 5 or 10. So breathe is my word for all the things that are an intentional pause. So if you've been saying, I'd love to meditate, but I just don't have time. I'd love to see what all the buzz is about. Why is everybody so excited about meditating? But God, I just don't have time. Maybe you use one of these 10-minute pockets to try on meditation for size. A 10-minute meditation is pretty powerful. In fact, I often don't get to 10 minutes in a meditation. Sometimes it's only 5. So that is a really good use of a 10 minutes. And then instead of it being, an accidental pause where, again, we're just scrolling through our phone or we're rifling through things on our desk or we're kind of frittering it away, we're really turning it into a powerful, intentional pause with a 10-minute meditation. You could pray in those 10 minutes. You could just think, like sit and sort through a problem that you have been trying to solve. On paper is my favorite way to do that, right? With a pencil in my hand, sorting through what's the decision, what's the problem that I have to solve. You could step outside and get some fresh air. When my daughter was in exams in December, she said, Mom, I don't have a lot of time between the first and the second exam, so I'm not really sure if I can do anything. And I was like, perfect. Go to the bathroom. Maybe you've got a small snack with you and step outside. Just get out in that cold air for 10 minutes and breathe before you go into your second exam. And just imagine how refreshed you'll be when you go back in, right? Hey friend, ever wondered why you're so tired all the time? Why you need that afternoon caffeine hit every day just to stay in the game? Hint. You probably need more sleep. So I created something just for you. It's my 7-day sleep makeover. I'll teach you the 3 steps you need to move from exhausted to energized so you can live out your brilliant dreams. Head to brilliantbalance.net/sleep and start your sleep makeover today. You're going to love this. You could make a short plan in a 10-minute break or 15 or 20, right? You can get out whatever tool you use for planning your week. I'm a big fan of Evernote. You may have downloaded our training on that, but you can use any tool you want. But 10 minutes is actually a lot of time to get your thoughts in order on how is the rest of this day or the rest of this week going to unfold. So that's the first kind of bucket is if you find yourself with an unexpectedly free short period of time, you could choose to breathe. Just take a minute, collect yourself. And it's really powerful. But it's not the only idea. A second idea is I'm calling this one begin. So in a short period of time, 10 minutes, you could get started on something that you've been procrastinating about and give yourself permission to not finish it. Okay? So just start whatever the thing is that has been, you've been thinking, oh, I don't have time to finish, so I'm not even going to start. But you could make 10 minutes or 15 minutes of progress on something. So often, the thing that keeps us, I call it stuck before the starting line, right? We're stuck before the starting line is we're concerned we don't have time to get to the finish line. And because of that, we're like, why bother? But imagine if you reclaimed 10, 15, 20, 30-minute increments over the course of a week or two, could you get that project completed? And I'll tell you what, this is the secret. The first 10 or 15 minutes is probably used to plan out your approach. So if you do that, then the rest of it very naturally sort of falls into these short snippets that can be done. So any big project that's feeling a little overwhelming and you're just not getting to it, you could use 10 minutes to begin again with the permission that you have no intention of finishing. And then the third B might be my favorite. I'm calling this one burst. So we talked about breathe and we talked about begin, and this one is burst. So a burst is like a short sprint of a flurry of activity against something that you want to do. I will tell you, there are 10-minute workouts available to you on the magical internet that are harder than some 30, 40, 60-minute workouts I bet you've done. So it's really about the intentionality, the structure, the intent, the focus of those 10 minutes. Now, of course, you're not going to go do this if it's 2:00 in the afternoon and you're wearing high heels and a skirt, okay? But there are those pockets where maybe you woke up later than you thought you were going to, and you don't have time to get to the gym, and you don't have time to do the full workout class that you plan to do. But if you look at your iPhone and you say, you know what, I do have 15 minutes before I have to get in the shower, you'd be surprised what you can get done. And so many women are telling me, I just don't have time to work out. I feel terrible. I'm not moving. I hate how it feels. Here's your answer. Use the burst to get 10 or 15 minutes in. Other things you might be able to do in a burst: cleaning up the kitchen. If you are somebody who is just constantly bothered by the clutter in one of the key rooms of your house, like the kitchen, 10, 15 minutes where you're a little flurry of activity, you'll be surprised. You can get that sink of dishes done. You can get things put away. You can get the clutter off the counters, and you'll feel so much better in just using that short period of time. You can clean out the junk drawer. Everybody has one. Most of us have at least one somewhere in the house. Some of us have lots of them. And just 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, get through that junk drawer, get a garbage bag next to you. You'll be amazed at how far you can get. You can go through that pile of mail that has been staring at you, that you don't know what's lurking in it. You could put away the laundry. So again, I hear this all the time from working moms. Getting the laundry done is not the problem. It's putting it away, right? Sometimes it's folded and sitting in baskets, but it'll sit there for days. Sometimes it's not folded and it needs to be folded and put away. So that's a great kind of short burst type of activity. What other ones can you think of that can be done in a burst? So again, I want to go back to what's the intent here. This is not to turn you into some kind of a robot that never rests. And that's why my very first B was breathe. I just want you to get credit for that pause if you take it, okay? So when you find yourself with an unexpected short period of time and you're just not sure what you can do with it, and you hear yourself saying, well, it's not enough time to do anything, I want you to think back to breathe, begin, and burst, and see if there's one of those that you could put into practice so you feel a whole lot better about that period of time as you move into your next planned activity. Okay? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to try this. So if you have an idea that's come to you as you're listening to this episode and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it. That's what I'm doing today. Then I want you to go to Instagram and post a picture of you doing it or of the finished product, and then tag me in your post and I'll repost some of these. So you'll find me on Instagram at Skolnicki, Skolnicki. I'll put it in the show notes. Come find me there, tag me in your Instagram post, and I'll share it to my stories. You can use the hashtag Let's Be Brilliant, and I can't wait to see the creativity that you have in reclaiming some of these short snippets of time, because I know if you give a mom 10 minutes, she can do just about anything. That is it for today, my friends. Next week on the podcast, we are talking about 3 things confident women do differently. It's going to be eye-opening when you start realizing, like, how would I handle this differently if I were channeling a lot of confidence? So until next time, let's be brilliant.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.